It's that boy Fago. Yeah. Fuego, Fago. Fire. It's that boy Fago. Yeah. Fuego, Fago. Let him know. It's my time now. Don't rush me.
Oh man, goddamn. I love these type of videos, man. We got the way too early 2024 NBA mock draft, The Lottery by Derek Parker. All right, now I think I'm in the right mode. All right, let's see.
Or what have you. So sorry it's been so long. Was not anticipating any type of hiatus. I was out at NBA Summer League in Las Vegas. Was planning on vlogging that. Had way less time than I anticipated, so didn't get that around. Then got back, and general life things got in the way. But we're back. Should be back on weekly releases now. Gonna be doing my first 2024 NBA draft piece today. Gonna be a way too early mock. Just gonna do the first 14. If you're here from the future telling me how bad it is, you can save your breath. I don't need to know. I already realize it's probably very different than what is actually going to happen. Not only do these preseason rankings rarely work out, I am admittedly not the best evaluator of high school tape or talent, but I do think it's a fun little video and a way.
But I don't know if I can make a proper assessment in this amount of time, but I'm going to try.
Way to kind of informally introduce some of the 2024 class. For the order, I've decided to do a tankathon roll. It's not perfect and obviously won't be close to
San Antonio gonna be in top five.
Simply
Man, Houston. If Houston got OKC pick, I'm like, Houston not finna be in the goddamn top five
this far out. But I do think it's generally pretty solid, so we are going to rock with it. But all that to say, if you're mad your team is here, take it up with Tankathon. First up, one team I don't think anyone should be surprised to see here, the Washington Wizards with the first overall pick. After a hard reset, I think they're a lock to be the worst team in the NBA, but a few top picks should get them back on track pretty quickly. First overall, I have them selecting Ron Holland, who is set to play for the G League Ignite this upcoming season. A 6'8" forward. Most simply, I think Holland is a decent step ahead of the rest of the players in this class at the moment, and I think the expert rankings reflect that. He's got that quick twitch style of dribble driving, above average NBA athleticism, a pretty solid handle at 6'8", and is an outside threat, all things that will make him a capable number 1 or number 2 scoring option for both the Ignite and an NBA team down the line. And his claim to fame may very well end up being his defense, which is next level and certainly projects to be strong at any level of basketball. I think it will be hard to dethrone him for the number 1 spot, so Wizards adding the top talent here. Not that they would have been drafting for fit anyways, although based on their new draft philosophy, I do think they'll like a few of these other guys too, namely Buzelis and Rissa Shea.
Ooh.
Not a team position that I totally agree with, but again, take it up with Tankathon. Detroit selecting at number 2. I think the Pistons are set to be quite a bit better this year with their new dynamic duo of Cunningham and Ivy. If they did land the second pick, however, I think coming away with Justin Edwards would be perfect for them. A perimeter-oriented 6'7" wing who is slated to play for Kentucky this season, Edwards feels like a strong all-around option on the wing. He's pretty comfortable from range, has the size and confidence to make a ton of shots, and has just enough juice putting the ball on the floor to counter.
Left-handed player, really James Harden,
with great footwork and swarming tendencies. Alongside playmakers like Cunningham, Ivy, and Azar Thompson, I think Edwards would be a perfect fit and the best available here. Selecting third overall is the Charlotte Hornets, a potentially likely outcome, and I have them taking potential top pick Matas Buzelis, who's coming from Sunrise Christian and set to play for the Ignite.
He's a 6'11" guard.
At 6'11", Buzelis is one of the more interesting prospects in this entire cycle. He's essentially a wing with an immensely lengthy frame and some guard tendencies too. He's got a great shooting form, is already a really advanced shot maker for his age, and seems to have really great feel for the game that most players his size simply don't have. He's exceptionally smooth and has some defensive juice too with his frame. There's been some outlets advertising him as a potential 6'11" point guard. I have a really hard time seeing that. He'll really need to improve his speed, athleticism, and handle for me to get there. But him not being a point guard doesn't deter him as a prospect to me at all. He'll be able to handle the ball plenty as a wing. With that in mind, I think Charlotte would be a great fit. They've got the ball at point guard and just swung on a secondary handler, creator, shooter, and Brandon Miller. but Zealous would make a great three-headed
Oh,
trio.
he has an
all
interesting
handle,
game. He
shoot,
has a
pass, and
finesse.
create off the bounce some. That
A
iteration of
finesse
Charlotte would be really
layup
fun to watch.
3-point game, like the right-handed
Another
Manu
plausible
Ginobili.
spot, San Antonio picking 4th
Isaiah
overall. They've got a ton of potential
Collier.
talent, but are going to need some time to figure things out and give their young guys a lot of minutes. Luckily for them,
Is
here
he
they are
super
grabbing
athletic?
who is so
Russell
far my
Westbrook
favorite
type?
guard prospect in this
That's the only
draft, Isaiah
reason that
Collier
makes
out of
sense.
USC. Collier is a 6'4"
he
point
just
guard who
shoot
has a
like Russell
perfect and
Westbrook, too.
even blend of skills, athleticism, handle,
All-around
pace,
PG.
passing, shot making, shooting. To me, there are only a few areas he's truly elite, 99th percentile in, but he's above average to good at nearly everything, making
What
him
is
a
he
really
elite at?
strong point guard
Athleticism
prospect.
and
He's a good
like-
passer and looks to get others involved, but at his core is a solidly built
he's
scorer who
he
can
can
patchwork his
fly,
way to the
okay.
basket with sneaky speed, dribble moves, good pick and roll navigation, pace, and more. I think he'd be absolutely perfect next to Victor Wembanyama in San Antonio, functioning as the primary ball handler who can go get his own bucket or facilitate, but he's got a pure enough shooting stroke that he could play off of Wemby, off of
it'd
Jeremy
be a good
Sohan,
mix,
and more.
I ain't gonna
So
lie.
super fun fit there.
It's like Sonic the Hedgehog out there.
At number 5 overall, the Houston Rockets pick
Za-
conveys to Oklahoma City via the Chris Paul trade. Honestly, this probably has a decent chance of happening with the additions of Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and Ben Thompson, but it might not be right at 5, likely somewhere in the 7 to 12-ish range. Regardless, 5th overall, I have Oklahoma City selecting Zachary Rissachet of France, and based on past draft philosophy, I think this is as perfect a fit as
Wow,
they come.
wait,
He measured
it's the
6'9" and a
Rockets
half in
picking with
shoes
their
and is
pick?
another one of these lengthy, do-it-all forward-esque prospects who has extreme potential. He's really fluid, has a decent perimeter game, and can operate with the ball in hands too. He's not an elite self-creator just yet, but his size and feel give
Oh,
him a
not a
leg up,
lottery pick
especially
then. Get him
defensively
out
as
of
a rim
there.
protector with mobility. He's likely going to be a developmental swing, but
Hell
OKC
no,
hasn't been
not
shy
at
about
5.
taking those at
I ain't
all
taking
recently
no
with the
developments at
similarly
5,
profiled
bro.
Ousmane Dieng, and reportedly liking Bilal Coulibaly in 2023.
Maybe at like
he could be a
10,
long-term
11,
forward or a
12.
small ball center option alongside SGA, Josh Giddey, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and the other Thunderers.
Thunderers.
We have Portland selecting 6th overall, and I have them
Thierry
taking one of my favorite prospects
Darlin.
in this draft, Thierry Darlan. Formerly a member of the NBA Academy Africa, and a soon-to-be member of the
Africa.
G League Ignite. Darlan, at 6'7", is a guard-wing hybrid who has a knack for long-range shooting and shot-making. He's got a great and projectable shooting stroke, and has already shown plenty of tough shot-making on tape. Typically, those things aren't going to get you more than a late lottery grade in my personal book, but I actually think Darlan has snappy enough movement both with the ball in hands and defensively that he's really intriguing to me.
These
It's a work in
archetypes
progress with his current
are
handle,
different
but I think he's going to have some
in thi-
legit
in this
on-ball
day and age,
skills
aren't
down
they?
the line. At least enough coupled with the shooting, making him potentially more than
Back
meets the
in
eye
my
as a
day,
prospect.
it was you
So,
was
in my
just
mind,
on the
Portland
court
would
for
be going
one
best
reason.
available here in a two-way perimeter-oriented wing to pair with Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp. I am pretty
Remember
positive
Matt
he won't
Bullard?
end up going this high. There's
You know what
only
he was
so
on
much
the court
production to go
for.
around on his team, and this would be the third
Steve
Ignite member
Novak.
selected in the top 6. But I really like Darlan's game. He just pops to me, so I'm going with my
John
gut here.
Stockton.
It might not even be next season, but I think he'll be a really strong
Robert
two-way
Horry.
wing down the line at some point. 7th overall, we have San Antonio
Cody
making another selection, this time via the
Williams.
Raptors pick, which they acquired, I believe, from the Jakob Poeltl
Goddamn.
trade just last season.
So San
After
Antonio
grabbing
gonna get to
Collier
rebuild
at
real
4,
quick,
we have
huh?
them nabbing Cody
They gonna pull a
Williams
Houston
at
next
7.
year.
At 6'8", Williams is a do-it-all forward who
Aight.
has a really connective feel about him. He signed on to play with Colorado in college. I'm not totally sure his stats are going to scream top pick, but I think he's going to be really impactful to winning basketball there. So if the scoring numbers do look good enough, he could absolutely end up here. He's got a decent blend of handle, speed, and fluidity. He has good mid-range touch and a believable outside
jump
game.
shot is slow.
Most importantly, he
That ain't
feels
gonna
really
work.
cerebral and is a
Need to
pretty
speed that
involved
up.
passer. Defensively, he employs all the same things. And for the Spurs, who in this
that was
scenario
a good
would have
finish.
epicenters and Victor Wembanyama
Oh, he can
and
go left
Collier,
too.
I think those connective skills would make a ton of sense.
Everybody got ball handles now. Like, that's crazy. You
Another
didn't see
team
the
who I
6'8"
really think
dude
could
that
make the
could
jump to
dribble.
late lotto play-in
For real.
range is the Orlando Magic. But here
Everybody
they're
coming
selecting
from the
at number
Ignite?
8. I have them
Goddamn.
taking Izan Almanza, another G League prospect.
Almanza.
Crazy, I know, but they really did land a ton of talent in this class. It won't turn out this way, but with no knowledge of how things will turn out, it really does feel like currently they own a handful of lottery guys. Honestly, I don't totally know who to draft for Orlando. They're pretty set at guard and forward. This
Orlando
move did
getting
make some
big
sense
dudes
to me
that
for
could
a few
dribble.
reasons.
So if
Almanza
he's
is a
big and
6'10"
could dribble,
big
they
who
gonna
has
pick
a ton
him.
of international accolades for his age. He's insanely coordinated for his size, has good run and jump ability for a big,
he a
is a
big
great
man.
interior scorer, good defensive timing, and should be mobile
he
enough
might
to be
be top
versatile
15.
on
I
defense.
don't know,
And to top it all
man.
off,
He
he's
don't
got
look
great
that
positional
good.
passing chops. He could be a fun center option for Orlando, potentially the only position they
Back
somewhat
to the
need
basket
right now.
center?
I'm
Oh,
not sure
no.
if he's a long-term
No.
starting center option or not
Unless
as
he's
of
pulling
right
a
now.
Jokic or
But
an
he'd at least
Alperen.
offer some fun, big,
You know
big
what I'm
wrinkles
saying?
next
It
to
don't look like he
Banchero
got
and
any of
Wendell
them
Carter
skills.
Jr. and would fit well into their jumbo style with his connectivity.
He got to up his game some.
9th overall, we have Utah selecting Stephen Castle, who's set to play for UConn this upcoming season, and another guy who has claim to potentially being the best guard in this class. At 6'6", Castle is a jumbo point guard who thrives on pace and control
big point
rather
guard.
than speed or athleticism.
He might be number 1 or number 2. Big point guard. Are you serious? He's the only one that you mentioned.
He's got a great ambidextrous handle, good touch from all
Ball handlers get drafted high, like with that point guard mentality.
over, and is going to be one of the better passers, I think, in the class. And to top it all off, his jumper looks really smooth. I can't totally tell based off high school tape, but he seems like he's going to function well off screens and in the pick and roll, which would make him a great modern guard option. He would likely be Utah's point guard of the future, and with forward and center positions
With
filled,
Keontae
I think he'd be a great
George.
juxtaposition next to Keontae George
Oh,
in
I
the
just
backcourt,
said it.
should that selection pan out. After surrendering their own pick to OKC at 5, we do actually have Houston making it out with pick number 10 and selecting Utah's Donovan Clingan, back-to-back Huskies here. The Rockets have had an interesting offseason, and they also have an overabundance of talent, making this a tricky selection. Depending on how their season goes, they might not be in position to draft for fit, but I'm going to do so anyway because I like their young core, so I've drafted a big. Clingan is 7'2", very much a traditional style center, but he's going to be an absolute force in those few areas: interior scoring and defense, rebounding. He's going to have a real impact.
Hey, I wouldn't be mad if they got him, yo. I'm a Rockets fan.
Hey. Game 2. Houston has a ton of potential hyper scorers: Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore.
He gonna
but they
be
lack
like
some of the high floor
Ben
or high
Wallace.
ceiling defensive prospects,
All
and I think
defense
Clingan would be
and
really
offensive
strong
rebound
there,
putbacks.
and could be a fit next to
I like
Alperen
this guy
Şengün,
already.
too. 11th overall, we have Indiana, another team I'm not
But they
totally
probably
sure
won't
what to
pick
do
him
for
out of
them
that. I don't
without
know.
seeing where they're at in the upcoming season.
Alexander
On paper, they're set at point with one of the best in the
Saul.
league, and Hallie Matherin is a great backcourt fit. They just
He's 7
drafted a
foot.
forward in Jarris Walker
He's-
and have other
he's
veteran pieces
7'1".
intermingled. They've got Miles Turner at the 5, but with
Oh,
him
bro,
on a
he's gonna go
slightly
higher
different
than 11,
timeline,
dog.
I've got them drafting Alex Sarr here as a long-term center option alongside Walker in the front court. Despite being a phenomenal defender, I think Walker can look a little stiff
Oh,
and
hell
rigid
no.
at
He's
times.
going way
whereas
higher than that.
Sarr,
You're crazy.
hovering somewhere around 7 foot, give or take, is a highly coordinated,
Look at his
elastic
footwork.
adjacent center who's going to have some interior scoring and rim protection chops. Again, I think he would be a great juxtaposition of athleticism, and
Look at that.
Sarr would offer Halliburton a lengthy weapon to go to
7'1"?
as well. It would be a
If he
slight
really
swing,
7'1",
being that he's
bro,
not totally
he's
a
gonna be
5
top
or
3.
potentially even a 4, but one that I'm all for Indiana pushing the
Crazy.
chips in on. At number 12, we have New Orleans selecting lightning quick Kentucky combo guard DJ Wagner. No one's a good basketball team. They're set at point guard,
Sweet.
forward, center. They're deep. They addressed shooting in 2023. Hopefully they're not even in this draft position, so I've just gone with best available. Wagner is a 6'3" combo guard who most seem to think shades a hair more towards point guard, at least for
Ooh.
Kentucky this season. He's exceptionally quick, can go 0 to 60, has great touch
That
around
guy
the
might
rim,
jump
in the
up
mid-range,
too
and a
in the
projectable
top
shooting
10.
stroke that should help him lean into shooting guard qualities too. Plenty of
He might
experts
be a
I
top
trust
10
have him higher
pick,
than
bro,
this.
dude.
I think he'll need to really improve in a few
Under
areas to get
6'5".
there. Strength, decision-making,
That
defense.
fast like
but
this,
I
man,
definitely
they
see
are
the
a
vision for how good he
factor.
can be, and I think he'll see plenty of
They
good
are
production
a
at
problem
Kentucky.
when they're that fast.
At 13, we have the Minnesota
Steve
Timberwolves,
Kidd.
and I have them taking
Tyrese
Duke's Tyrese Proctor, a rare case of both best available and best fit. Proctor, a 6'5" point guard, is one of the
Looks
best
finesse-y.
returning players in the
Yep,
country, and is set to
finesse.
take on a decent amount of production for the Blue Devils. He's a pass
Hey,
first
man.
guy, 116 assists to just 57 turnovers as a
Hey,
freshman.
I
and he
was
has
just
all
about
the
to
tools
say,
in his
I'm like,
arsenal
hey,
to
this
become
is
a
Chris,
decent
young Chris
scorer,
Paul
too.
right
His
here,
scoring
man.
efficiency was not great in year one. If he can bump those numbers up, especially on the
Oh, he's a
perimeter,
little
he's
bit
a
more
lock to be a
athletic than
first-round
Chris
pick
Paul.
and likely one of the top guard options
Oh,
in the
Mr.
class,
Finesse.
alongside the likes of Anthony
I
Edwards,
like him.
Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy
He might be
Gobert.
top 10,
Proctor would be a
bro.
great facilitating guard that wouldn't need the ball too much and would elevate all of their games even
Hey,
more.
he's gonna be really good in the NBA, dude.
And
them
last
skills
but
transfer.
certainly not least,
Jacoby
we have the Knicks, who in this scenario are inheriting the 14th overall
Walter.
pick via Dallas. I have them taking a gamble on soon-to-be Baylor Bear Jacoby Walter. A 6'6" shooting guard, Walter might just be my favorite prospect of the role player-esque tier. He has a pristine jumper, near perfect mechanics, a high release, and he's got some size to see those shots go through. I think he's going to get his fair share of shots off in the 2-guard role at Baylor, and I think that production will carry him far. Even more, he's really athletic, has enough in his bag handle-wise to counter closeouts, and I'm betting he showcases some fun on-ball stuff every so often and packs a defensive punch too. I'd love him as a swing for New York, who to this point might just need more good basketball players in general. That is it for this one. Let me know what you thought of the video, who your team drafted, who you wanted your team draft, who you draft, who you think is missing from the video. I did want to say there are a few players that I left off due to various injury concerns and stuff like that. So, until next time.
Hey, that was an intriguing video. Hey, that draft looks like it's gonna be pretty good, man. This league changing. I wouldn't be mad if the Rockets drafted that 7'2" center though at 10 or wherever. If they could get him, they should get him. That'd be nice. But that's all, folks.
It's that boy Fago. Yeah. Fuego, Fago. Fire. It's that boy Fago. Yeah. Fuego, Fago. Let him know. I'm on fire, man. Con Fuego. Scorching. You see me with a soda.